Hello again. Today we will be learning about advanced economics in EU4, and we will be playing as Japan. So Japan touches quite a few different trade nodes, which is why I chose to use my Japan game for this. So to start with, we will run through the basics. So your money comes from a variety of sources, as you can see over here, and trade as well. So to start with, this is your base tax value. You probably already know this if you saw my other one. Your taxes are based on several of your different factors affecting your nation, as well as any of the buildings you build, which this particular one has a great deal. Next is your production, which is sort of how you double dip in trade. So as you can see down here, we produce grain, and we get yearly a value of 6.34. So that is calculated here, as you can see, the trade value, and then your various production bonuses will give you an amount of money for producing that grain and then selling it on the market. And then everything's added up and you get a total. And over in the colonies, we can see things are similar but slightly different. For example, here we're making coffee, which is worth more. As you can see, the higher trade value. There is no production, however. Instead, you get tariffs. Tariffs are almost exactly the same as production, but if you notice, they get a negative 85% modifier for them. In addition, at the very bottom, you can see the trade efficiency. So Japan owns 67 overseas provinces, and you need one trade ship or heavy ship per province in order to get 100% efficiency on your tariffs. So as you can see, I have 125 ships that are protecting the sea lanes for 67 provinces, which gives an efficiency of 100%. Those are the major differences. Basically, you will get most of your money from overseas from trade, as you can see down here, whereas in your home provinces, most of your money will come from production for your resources. The difference isn't all that important at the start, but it plays into how you deal with your trade. So moving along, we will move to trade. Japan's interesting, as you can see, because they have a trade node coming in from the other side, which is the reason why we have colonies over here in California and the Mexican region. And this is the Mexican trade node, and as you can see, I am pushing money over towards Japan. However, I've also colonized part of Panama right here, and because it is an excellent little choke point, as you can see here, Peru trade zone creates money and then pushes it northward, and it has to pass through Panama in order to head into the Caribbean and then be shoved across the sea towards Europe. So what we're doing here is I have one fella here collecting money. Now, due to some ships and because I own some of this territory and I've put some effort into increasing them, their trade value, I own 62% of the trade here. So even though down here in Peru they are shipping their money to the north, I am essentially stealing 62% of it before the Europeans can collect it and send it back home. So that's one way to gain a little bit of extra cash from a trade node. Because unfortunately, as you can see, only one trade node, which would be the Californian trade node, actually goes into the Mexican one. So I'm rather limited. In a similar manner, if we head over to the Philippines, once again, you can see it heads over towards South America. The Australian node feeds into the Philippines, and then it heads over here, away from, once again, from where we need the money to go. So, there's somebody else collecting there. So, the important thing here is to make it worth your while. So I have 54% of the trade power here, which means I'm able to suck up a fairly decent amount of money coming into the Philippines. And Meanwhile, over in my home area, I own almost all of the trade power. So I'm able to collect all of this. So the whole point here is to how you deal with trade power, which is very important. And once again, using your merchants to collect that money so you can actually gain from your trade. So let me get an example of why this is important. So if we go back here and switch it back and forth. So here is the Mississippi River trade zone. Note, I don't have any merchants here, and my actual trade power in this area is 15, which is fairly completely worthless. And as you can see, nobody's really influencing this at the moment, so all the money is evenly distributed and going in two different directions. Now this makes my colonies right here, which I made as sort of a buffer to keep Portugal from overwhelming the west here, is that this money that I'm getting, this trade value, is not being used by me at all. So once again, as you can see, it's inside the Mississippi River trade zone. So your colonies provide money from trade, which you want to collect. That's, as I said before, that's one of the main ways for you to get money from your colonies. And as you can see, the taxes and tariffs are not all that useful. So I would desperately like to have this money, but because it is within the Mississippi River trade zone, I will never actually get any of that trading money. It'll all go into this pool, which is then carried away. However, these ones right here that are inside the Mexican trade zone all go into this pile, is added as part of this 10.41, which I can then ship away or collect it, depending on however I want to do it. So that's a little overview here of how you want to place your colonies and how you want to collect your money, and to show, you know, so clearly it would have been more intelligent for me to just take these ones right here, and I still would have blocked Portugal off, but at the same time I would have been collecting all of that money. However, that was in the past, no big deal. And that is pretty much it for all you need to know to get your get the ball rolling here. Remember to increase your production, especially in places like this. Shell China would be very expensive. And by increasing your production, you also increase the amount that you actually ship off, the amount of goods produced, as well as you get money straight here from your entire production value. So once again, production lets you straight up double dip. You can your goods are being sold to the market, and then you can take that money back from the market using from your trade zones. And over in the colonies, you get tariffs, which are similar to production, but at a significantly less amount. So most of your money from your colonies will be coming through your trade, which you will then collect or ship back home. And that's about it. Have a good day.